Welcome back to the channel and to week 9 of the NFL and to another episode of Trace Pick 6. Now in these shows, I pick my favorite 6 plays off of the slate and we dive into each of those and analyze them. But before we get into this week's picks, let's take a look back at week 8, what we took and how that went down. Oh, guys, it was another rough week, man. 3-5 for week 8. Now, the only solace is 2 of those 3 wins were plus money plays, so we don't lose a shit ton unit-wise, right? But no excuses, man. Week 8 was trash. Looking to dump that one, flush it down the toilet. Let's get back to the right side of things here in week 9. We started off, man, the season hot, man. Through those first 5 weeks, 22-9. Kind of a little bit of a lull here these last 3 weeks, right? A 2-4 week in week 6, 3-3 in week 7, now 3-5 in week 8. So we are sitting at 30-21 overall on the year. We are still up over 8 units on the season. So nothing to cry about, right? But we do want to get back to that positive side, man. I want to see some profit this week, damn it. It's been 3 weeks now since I've seen some profit. So need a little bit of redemption on my end, man. I need to see some green at the end of the day. So let's get back into that. Let's get back onto that winning side of things. Let's dive into those picks for week 9. But hold on, before we do, a couple things I need you guys to do. Hit that like button down below for me. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, because guys, we are so damn close to 100,000 subscribers. Insanity, right? Man, so we're going to dive into Outlier for the first play of the day. But before we do, guys, I did want to mention that if you are not on the Outlier yet, make sure you check in that pinned comment. Make sure you check into the description. Either one of those spots, you will find a link for Outlier to where you can get a free 7-day trial for yourself to try this out. And you're going to get to see it throughout this video, guys. What a great tool it is. By far the best sports betting research tool out there on the market. So, like I said, we're going to jump over here to Outlier for the first one. And the first pick I'm looking at is going to be Jakobi Meyers of the Raiders taking on the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. Looking at his receptions, over 4.5. Now, I caught this at -135. This must have just jumped to -140 on BetMGM. So that is the best price that we can find it out at currently right now, -140, BetMGM. So this is another cool thing about Outlier, guys. You come over here to this Add My Pick spot, and you can see everywhere where that prop is available, and it ranks it for you in terms of odds so that we can see right here at the top that BetMGM is where we're going to find that at the best price. Like I said, -140 currently right now. If we look over here, we can see Outlier, man, they have these insights from time to time that it's basically like a trend, and it's going to filter everything here down below to match that trend up top. And we can see that Meyers has exceeded this 4.5 reception mark in 4 of his last 5 games, hitting at an 80% rate overall. He's actually hit over this mark in 4 straight games. I mean, it's come against some solid teams. Obviously, you know, Carolina is not going to fall into that solid team category, but a solid defense over there for Cleveland, and an even more solid defense for Denver, right? Very phenomenal secondary over there. And then a great pass rush from Kansas City as well. Good defense that he went up against in that one. So 4 straight times that he has hit over this mark. If we scroll on down, we can see that he is the top targeted receiver for this Raider team. Now, obviously, Bowers takes up 24% of the targets to his 16%, right? And I did want to look at Bowers, right? We did cash on a tight end against the Bengals last week. Cincinnati typically does struggle against these tight ends, but his numbers for his receptions and for his yards are sitting a little too high for my liking. I like where we can find Meyers at in terms of receptions and yards. We can scroll up and look at his yards real quick just for shits and giggles, guys. If I can find them here, I'm a little blind. Reception yards, there we go. And we can see that that's sitting at 51.5. Now, I like him to get over that mark as well. And that one's not quite as juiced. We can find that for -120 odds at BetMGM. But the receptions feel a little bit more comfortable to me. Judging off of the Cincinnati defense and how they play, they like to play in zone quite a bit to their own downfall. I don't know why they just stick with it over and over again. But hey, I'm not on the field calling the shots. I'm up in the stands with a tear trickling down my cheek. That's all. Um, but I do like him catching over 4.5 and landing at least 5 catches against this weak Cincinnati secondary that likes to sit in the zone and just kind of let teams eat them apart. Obviously, Jakobi Meyers, just a sure-handed receiver. Like I said, the top targeted receiver for the Raiders as well. Very consistent guy, man. A great receiver. He has been throughout his career. But the biggest thing for me, Cincinnati, their defense is trash. Just trash, man. Take it from me, a lifelong Bengal fan, season ticket holder, guys. I'm there at each of these games watching them get destroyed week after week. This defense is horrible. No pass rush whatsoever. You got Trey Hendrickson down there fighting for his life on that defensive line, trying to get to the quarterback while everybody else just is kind of doing whatever they're doing. like I said, no pass rush, and that's definitely hurt the secondary. Secondary's trashing themselves, man. Just a lot of young players making a lot of big mistakes. So receptions allowed, Cincinnati sits at 21st overall. Against wide receivers specifically, 23rd overall. So I like this one here. Like I said, Jakobi Meyers, minus 140 odds at BetMGM. Looking at his receptions, over 4.5. And next up, I'm going to be looking at that Bengals game still. Looking at Jermaine Burton of the Bengals for an anytime touchdown. Now, Burton is a rookie receiver, and we've seen him in limited action throughout the season so far. Now, a few things that play into this one for me. First off, T. Higgins is going to be out in this one again. Now, also, Zach Moss is trending towards being out as well. Now, Zach does play running back. Why does that correlate? Well, the Bengals don't have much of a rushing attack here these last few weeks. Anyway, it started off the season a pretty efficient rushing attack, right? Complementing that passing game. It's gone completely downhill over the last few weeks. And Zach Moss not being out there, now we have Chase Brown and Travion Williams, I guess, will be the backup. Just not a good look offensively for this rushing game or for this rushing attack. So I definitely see them, it's already a pass-heavy offense. I definitely see them leaning that way yet again. And with T. Higgins out, man, somebody has to step up besides Chase, right? The defense is going to focus in on Chase. They're going to double him without T out there taking up any attention. So the defense is going to lock in on Jamar. Somebody's got to step up. Now, it was Mike Gesicki last week, and we could see another big game out of him this week as well. But when you look at these other receivers for the Cincinnati team, Andre Yosevich, Trenton Irwin, Charlie Jones, you just haven't seen much from anybody else, right? And when you've seen Burton out there on the field in limited spurts, he's impressed in my opinion. He's definitely shown some flashes. Had a big long catch against the Chiefs way back in week 2. Like I said, just kind of limited action throughout the season. Had a nice 41-yard reception last week as well. And then, Burrow did target him in the end zone last week. He jumps up, man. He gets that ball in his hand. His defender at the last second knocks that thing out, made a great play. But, man, it looked like Burton was going to come down with that. I could definitely see Burrow looking his way again, right? I follow these Bengals, man, closer than any other team in the NFL. Obviously, it's my favorite squad. And I'm here in Cincinnati, so I'm seeing all the media, man, every day of the week, right? And each player, Burton himself, Burrow, each coach, anybody that you listen to has talked about how they expect his role to increase this week. And rightfully so, man. It's about time we see what he's made of. And Burton he's more than excited and ready to show that, right? This is why you drafted me. And Burrow himself has shown a lot of confidence in him. He's talked very highly of him, very excited about what he can bring to the field as well. So I think that we see Burrow go his way quite a bit in this game. Do I think he's going to lead the team in targets this week? No. But I do think that we see a lot more of him than what we have seen so far this season. And he's that guy, man, that could just, if we're doubling up Chase on the other side, somebody might break free eventually, right? And Burton's got a ton of speed. So I definitely could see him on a go ball, man, finding the end zone. And I like him in the red zone as well. Like I said, Burrow targeted him last week. And if it wasn't for a great play by the defender, he would have came down with his first career touchdown. So, I definitely like his chances here of getting that first touchdown grab here in Week 9 against this Raiders defense. That is middle of the pack in terms of passing touchdowns given up. And then the biggest factor for me, we look at FanDuel right now. This is a plus 400 play, right? But, every week FanDuel gives that what's it called? That Gronk spike anytime touchdown profit boost, right? It gives us a 30% profit boost for an anytime touchdown. So if we add that in, we can now get this on FanDuel for plus 520. Man, I'm all over that all day. Now, look, I might just do a half unit. I might just go ahead and put a whole unit on it, though. I'm undecided, man. But I definitely like his chances of getting into the end zone. Now, these anytime touchdowns, they're always a risk, right? But I definitely think that Burrow looks his way. So I like this one here. I think that's definitely a play that I put in myself as, like I said, as a half unit for sure, maybe even a full unit. Next up, I'm going to be looking at the Cleveland Browns taking on the Los Angeles Chargers at home there in Cleveland. Looking at their points under 20.5. Now, I was looking at the Chargers on the money line in this one. You can get it at minus 120. But, man, it's always a risk messing with these Chargers, right? Because that offense is just so inconsistent. However, that defense has not been too shabby. Okay, we can look over here to the right and we can see that as far as points allowed, their scoring defense, they're sitting at first, averaging just 13 points against them on the course of the season. So hard to get any points up against this team. And for the season, Cleveland has really struggled offensively, right? Not hitting over that 20-point mark, not even hitting 20 points until last week against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, a lot of things factored into that win, right? They do end up beating beating Baltimore at home here in Cleveland, 29-24. It was a big victory for them, and it was a much needed victory, right? Um, Cleveland had been struggling mightily. Just loss after loss after loss. The last time they won was way back in week 2 against the Jaguars. So a lot of losses, a lot of tough losses too. Getting blown out there by Washington. So Cleveland needed a win in a bad way, and they shake things up. Ken Dorsey, they transfer the offensive play calling duties over to him. Jameis Winston makes his first start for the Browns this season after Watson goes down with injury. And speaking of that, man, Watson goes down with that injury. The Cleveland fan base is booing, or they're cheering actually. Rather, they're cheering his injury, and that rubbed a lot of these players the wrong way, man. So I think there was a lot of extra motivation to come out here and play the best game that these guys could play, right? And they did. They did. They gave it everything they had, and they come away with a 5-point victory. Do I think that this is sustainable, man? Absolutely not. Do I think that Winston is the savior for the Browns? Absolutely not. And I love Jameis, man. I think he's a great guy. He's obviously he's hilarious as all hell, right? He gets on those press conferences. He's a funny dude, just naturally. He don't even got to try. And he's so knowledgeable when it comes to football, and he's such a great leader. But is he the savior for this Cleveland Brown team, man? I don't believe so. They're still going to have those same struggles that they had before he came into this position. There's not a lot of talent on that side of the ball, unfortunately. And they traded away their top receiver, Amari Cooper. So, you know, I don't see this one being. Like I said, I don't see this offensive production being sustainable. And then if let's go ahead and look as well at the Chargers. Let's go ahead and pull them up, see what they've done on the season so far here in 2024. Let's look at that defense, man. Like I said, the number one scoring defense, right? They've given up 8, 17, 16, 17, 20 once, 3, and 10. So one time they've hit 20 points. They have not gone over this 20.5-point mark at any point this season. So, in 7 games now, we have seen them come underneath this 20.5-point mark. They are the first ranked defense as far as scoring allowed, like I said. So I definitely like this one here for Cleveland, that under 20.5-point mark. We can find it on Caesars as well at -110. I like those odds quite a bit. So I'm going to roll with that one here, guys. Cleveland Browns, the points under 20.5. Except I'm going to be looking at the Cowboys and the Falcons. I'm looking at the Falcons on the money line, and then a total alternate over 46.5. Now I'm parlaying those together. Now, for some reason, you can see right here, sorry, unfortunately, your picks cannot be parlayed. I don't know what's going on, guys. If I look at this on my laptop, it's not letting me put this in as a parlay. If I pull this same exact bet up on my phone, I've actually already placed this bet, and I could place it again if I wanted to. So, I thought like, okay, well, maybe they took this option away. I put this bet in a little bit earlier. But like I said, I plugged these same numbers in, man. The Falcons on the money line and that over 46.5 total alternate. I plug that in on my phone, and I can place it again right now. So if you have DraftKings, guys, look, hopefully you don't have the same troubles that I'm having. But if you do, check it out on your mobile phone. You should be able to put it in. If not, you can do this same play over there on FanDuel. I was just able to get better odds over here on DraftKings. So couple things playing into this one. We'll look at the Falcons. We'll look at the total first, right? And we can see in their last 10 games, both of these teams have hit over this mark at a 70% rate. The Falcons have actually hit over this number in 5 straight games. And this offense has really been clicking. Besides that 14-point outing against Seattle, they have scored 31 against Tampa, 38 against Carolina, 36 against Tampa again, and then 26 against New Orleans. So they have hit over 26 points at least 4 of their last 5 games, and they've cracked 30 points in 3 of those 5. So offense is looking good on that side. Dallas as well has hit over this mark, like I said, 70% in their last 10. And then on the season, just in 2024, they've hit at a 71% rate. 5 of the 7 games played so far, they have hit over that mark. And there's a ton of injuries over there on that Dallas side, guys, especially on that defensive side. A ton of big names, too. Trevon Diggs is questionable. We still have Micah Parsons is out. We got DeMarcus Lawrence on injured reserve. Look, you know, everywhere you look up and down this injury list, it's a lot of defensive players. So I see Atlanta being able to have their way, right? And the over has hit in 5 of Atlanta's last 5 games versus bottom 10 scoring defenses as well. We can see that insight here from Outlier. So I definitely like the chances of this one getting up and over. And Atlanta doesn't have their defense isn't just lights out by any means. They are 19th in terms of scoring defense. They're 18th in terms of passing yards allowed, 20th in terms of rushing yards allowed, going up against a Dallas offense that is 3rd in terms of passing. So, I definitely think that Dak and those guys can get some things going through the air against this Atlanta team. So I like the chances of getting over 46.5 points. I think the total is actually sitting at 51.5. It might be at 52.5 now. So definitely buying that one down to 46.5. And then parlaying that with the Falcons on the money line. Now, the big thing that I like here, let's look at the strength of schedules, right, for each of these teams. Dallas is sitting at 19th in terms of strength of schedule, and they are 3-4 overall in the year. The Falcons are sitting at 9th, and they're 5-3. So, just clearly Atlanta has been the better team on the season. So, like I said, the Falcons on the money line, plus the over 46.5. If we combine those together, you can get that at plus 122 on DraftKings for that 2-leg parlay. And next up, I'm going to be looking at the Vikings laying 5 points over the Indianapolis Colts. I see a lot of people on the Colts, man. I see a lot of people on the Colts. I see a lot of the media all over the Colts, too, in this one with Joe Flacco making his return to the field. I'm on the Vikings side here, guys, on the Sunday night primetime game. We can get this at minus 110 on DraftKings right now. Minnesota is in a bounce back spot, if you ask me, right? 2 straight losses, 2 tough losses. Tough loss over there to Detroit at home. And then 4 days later on a short week, they have to take on the Los Angeles Rams in Los Angeles. They got to travel damn near across the country, right, to take on the Rams, who have Cooper Kupp back. And then a surprise, Puka Nacua is back as well. The Rams end up winning that one by 10. So the Vikings do come into this one with a little bit of extra rest, having played, like I said, on a short week last week, playing on Thursday Night Football as well. They get a little bit more rest than Indianapolis in this one. But they also get TJ Hawkinson back. He is returning for his 2024 debut. That should help clog the middle of the field up some, and that should help open up things on the outside for both Addison and Jay Jettas and keep this passing attack rolling against this Indianapolis Colt defense. Look, like I said, the Colts are moving forward with Flacco at the starting QB position, which should breathe a little bit of life into this offense, sure. The Vikings are down a star tackle in Christian Darrisaw. But, man, Minnesota still comes into this one with a 3rd overall DVOA ranking. Let's go ahead and jump over here to Ev's dashboard real quick, guys, the dashboard that he has put together for the NFL. And you can become a member to the channel, $2.99, and you get access to this dashboard, the NBA dashboard, MLB, once that's back in swing next year. He'll have that rolling again for you guys. So just $2.99, and you get all this wonderful information for each and every game on the slate. You can filter it down below to whichever game that you are looking at, and it's going to pull up all these statistics for you guys week in and week out. So another great tool that Ev has put together for you guys for only $2.99. Man, Ev's the GOAT. Give him some love with that one, please. Anyways, let's dive right back into this, guys. I'm looking down here specifically at these DVOA rankings, right? And this is what has me all over Minnesota, man. 3rd overall for DVOA rankings against the Colts, sitting at 20th. They're 16th on offense, right? But that's factored in heavy by that 18th run DVOA ranking. They are 4th in terms of passing, up against a 26th ranked passing defense for Indianapolis. Okay. And it's not like these Colts are flying in here with this crazy offensive rankings, right? 17th overall, 21st in the pass, 11th in the run. Look at this Minnesota defense. 1st overall for DVOA rankings, 1st against the pass, 1st against the run. So a lot playing in our favor here, like I said. for the Vikings laying just 5 points. I'll take it all day, guys. At -110, give me those Vikings in a bounce back spot at home in prime time. Then the last play I'm looking at is going to be Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs on Monday Night Football taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm looking at Pat's passing touchdowns over 1.5. Just need him to throw 2 touchdowns in this one, which has been a little bit of a struggle this season so far, right? 43%. Now, here's the thing, man. The Chiefs just have a way of looking off and not playing their best football and still beating every damn team that's put in front of them, right? Mahomes has thrown picks in each game so far this season. They have a new wide receiver hurt, it feels like, with each passing game. Um, Look, they're still undefeated, and they still sit at 11th in terms of passing offense as well. So, it's just look, man, this is a great squad. This is a great team of this era, probably the greatest team in this era. I don't, not even probably. It's for sure. What three of the last 4 Super Bowls have been won by these guys. It pains my heart, but yeah, these Chiefs are damn good. And like I said, they don't even got to play their best football, and they're still undefeated. So gotta love that as a football fan, right? But let's look at Patrick Mahomes, man. Like I said, a little bit deeper here. Um, we have seen him hit over this mark a couple times this season, and it has been against weaker passing defenses, right? Cincinnati, Atlanta, and then the Raiders last week. And what do we have over here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? We have a weaker passing defense, man. They sit at 29th in terms of passing yards allowed, up against that 11th ranked passing attack from the Chiefs, like I said. On the road, the Bucks are actually dead last when it comes to passing yards. They sit at 32nd. And then we can look up here as well. We can see that they are 27th in terms of passing touchdowns against them on the year. So look, man, despite this 43%, we don't like that a lot, right? That's not what we want to see here when it comes to a player prop. We would like to see better odds there for us with this. But we got to take into consideration, man. They have the newly acquired DeAndre Hopkins now in the mix. He still has his favorite target out there, Travis Kelce, running around. They got Juju. They got Xavier Worthy. Man, I could see this being one of the better games that we've seen from Pat so far this season, if not the best game that we've seen from him. You can't call it a breakout game when it's Patrick Mahomes, damn it. But I feel like this is probably going to be the best game that we've seen from him so far this season. I think that he kind of blows up in this one and has a great game against that Tampa Bay passing defense that just really is struggling right on the season. So I like Patrick Mahomes in this one. His passing touchdowns over 1.5, and we can get this right now at FanDuel for -120. So, guys, that is going to wrap it up here for another episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the content today, and if you found it helpful and useful in any kind of way, please do not forget to smash that like button right down below for me, and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Like I said, we are almost at 100,000 subscribers. Insanity. You guys are the shit, man. You guys are so awesome. I appreciate all the support that you've shown me alone on this channel, yet alone just the channel as a whole, guys. You guys are awesome. This community is awesome. I'm so blessed and honored to be a part of it. Thanks for accepting me right on in, along with Evan Tassos, man. You guys are awesome. Like I said, I can't say it enough. I will see you guys next week, hopefully to recap a sweep. I'm putting it out there, man. Let's get that good energy rolling in. Have a great day, guys. Let's make a bag.